Continuing tonight on Newsmax Prime, changes continue in Donald Trump's campaign, and those personnel changes are bringing changes to the way the candidate is campaigning. Miranda Kahn has more.
JD, Donald Trump's campaign manager, Paul Manafort, is officially out. He turned in his resignation today, but the GOP nominee already has a new A-team in place, and people are starting to take notice.
Trump looks to be as close to pivoting as we've seen so far.
He appeared disciplined and on message.
You might call this Trump 3.0, maybe 4.0.
A new Donald Trump with a new message to unite the party.
Sometimes in the heat of debate and speaking on a multitude of issues, you don't choose the right words.
I really like humble Trump, and that's what I saw last night.
Trump took a much more presidential tone during his rally yesterday in North Carolina.
And believe it or not, I regret it, particularly where it may have caused personal pain.
He has strayed, and he admitted it last night, and I think that was great.
Many are saying the change in message may be in part to Trump's poll numbers, which have been especially low with women. Some have pointed to new campaign manager Kellyanne Conway as a lead instigator for this new and improved Trump.
It was not me. That's all Donald Trump.
So who is Kellyanne Conway? For starters, she's the president, founder, and CEO of the polling company and considered to be one of the country's most respected Republican pollsters. For several years, she's worked with a number of conservative Republican lawmakers, including Ted Cruz. Her focus has been on helping these candidates appeal to the female vote.
Because we believe at the Trump campaign that all issues are women's issues.
Kellyanne and some of the other people that we're bringing in, and they're absolutely fantastic.
Donald Trump continues his pivot towards the general election and away from attacking his fellow Republicans. He's released a new television ad that will run in 4 battleground states starting today. In the ad, Trump attacks Hillary Clinton on illegal immigration and national security. Back to you, JD.
Thanks very much, Miranda. We'll take a look at that ad, and we also want you to know you'll get a closer look at the speech Donald Trump gave last night in Charlotte a bit later in the program as part of our Prime Playback. Of course, we want to hear from you. You can call us at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. And let's continue now with our panel. First via Skype, the co-founder of the Women Vote Trump PAC, Amy Kremer, and also joining us via Skype from Cincinnati, senior fellow at the Family Research Council, Ken Blackwell. So Miranda mentioned it in her report. Donald Trump started running his first general election ad in 4 battleground and swing states. Kenny, right there in Ohio with you. Also Florida, Pennsylvania, North Carolina as well. The ad, called Two Americas, focuses on Trump's position on illegal immigration compared to Hillary Clinton. Let's check it out in its entirety.
In Hillary Clinton's America, the system stays rigged against Americans. Syrian refugees flood in. Illegal immigrants convicted of committing crimes get to stay, collecting Social Security benefits, skipping the line. Our border open, it's more of the same, but worse. Donald Trump's America is secure. Terrorists and dangerous criminals kept out. The border secure. Our families safe. Change that makes America safe again. Donald Trump for president.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Well, Ken, the border got him where he was going, coming out against illegal immigration. He articulates that again, and in stark contrast to Hillary, does that bring people over to his side?
I think so. And Kellyanne is the ultimate professional. She knows that this is about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, but she also understands the magic of message discipline, and she knows one of the issues that runs through domestic and international policy matters is that of safety. And I think that you're going to watch him use the violence in the city, the porous borders, and terrorism, the threat of terrorism, as a way to say, I, in fact, can put together a team that will make you more safe than Hillary Clinton, who seems more concerned about cozying up, to terrorists and making excuses for the violence in the streets of our cities, as opposed to dealing with those things that will make you more safe.
Amy, thanks, Ken. Let me turn to you, Amy. Just the ad itself, the graphics, the contrast, is it effective?
Yes, I think that it is, because at the end of the day, I don't care what party you belong to or where you come from. You want your family to be safe. And if our nation is not safe, your family's not going to be safe. It is an issue that runs through everybody in this country. And like Ken said, I mean, even on an international level. So it's something that, you know, we can all agree upon. And it's something that we seriously need to look at. You look at San Bernardino, at Paris, at Brussels. I mean, these are all events that have happened within the past year. And right now, this administration says they want to let in 10,000 Syrian refugees, and Hillary Clinton has said she would up it to 65,000. If you are able to vet 99% of those Syrian refugees, which we all know that there's no way to vet them all thoroughly, if you were to vet 99%, that still leaves another 650 more Paris, San Bernardino, Brussels, Orlando's. We can't afford that. One more incident is one too many, and I think that that is something we can all agree on, and I think that that is what Donald Trump needs to hammer home to everybody through the rest of this campaign, and other issues as well. But
well, let's go to the phones and hear what those issues may be, Amy, as we're joined from Fort McCoy, Florida, by Paul. Paul, thanks for calling in tonight on Newsmax Prime.
Thank you, Mr. Congressman, for listening to me.
You bet.
Okay, I had a bizarro call today that it was a poll. They asked me two questions. The first was, do you agree with everything Donald Trump says? Well, of course I don't. I don't agree with everything anyone says, like all of us. The second question is, do you feel Hillary Clinton represents a danger to our country? I said yes. They said, thank you for your support, and we will mark your Democratic vote in favor of Ms. Clinton, and hung up.
What? Well, it sounds like they got people who don't speak English talking to you, Paul. I would check on that, and hopefully I'd make sure my ballot has not been marked, but there's pretty good ballot security in Florida. Paul, I want to thank you for the call. Talking about polling, we mentioned earlier the resume of Kellyanne Fitzpatrick Conway. Kellyanne was on ABC's Good Morning America earlier today and spoke about what Donald Trump said last night in Charlotte about regret. And like a good campaign manager, she said this was all Donald Trump. Listen.
He was talking about anyone who feels offended by anything he said, and that's all him. You know, he took extra time yesterday going over that speech with a pen. So that was a decision he made. Those are his words. And I hope that everybody who's criticized him at some point, David, for being insensitive or for mocking someone, at least show some recognition and some forgiveness.
Ken, you and Amy have both touched on this earlier, the fact that Kellyanne just brings the right note. And I guess it is worth noting that, after all, Trump is a guy who's a CEO. He is going to go over the speech, but I got a sneaking suspicion that's a good dose of Kellyanne in there, too. What say you?
Yeah, I think Kellyanne understands the whole concept of servant leader. And if, in fact, Donald Trump can take a big dose of that servant leader medicine, he, in fact, can position himself and push back against this notion that he is autocratic and that he would, in fact, be as much of an imperial president as Barack Obama.
Well, let's, Amy, I want to talk to you since obviously Kellyanne is there to help with the female vote. According to the latest poll from Pew Research, Donald Trump has a long way to go. Among women, Mrs. Clinton leads Mr. Trump 49 to 30%. Now, Trump leads with men, but his margin isn't as large. So, Kellyanne has her work cut out for her, as does Donald Trump. But will this new tone help make the difference by Election Day, Amy?
I do think it'll help. Because I think that women, you know, we don't just follow blindly. We're strong, independent thinkers. And at the end of the day, I think most women are going to make decisions on what is best for their families. And if we can cut through all the campaign clutter and the media bias and all that, and people will have an open mind, women will have an open mind, and listen to what Mr. Trump is saying, he will talk, they'll hear him talk about the things that matter to women. And that is what we've already talked about, safety and security. It's about jobs in the economy, about health care and education. I mean, those are all things that women are concerned about from coast to coast. And if you look at what Donald Trump is offering in comparison to what Hillary Clinton is offering, she's offering essentially 4 more years of the same. And look at where we are right now. I think that most Americans agree that we need a change. And Donald Trump, as he said himself, I think today, you know, he is the change agent. And I think Kellyanne is going to guide us into that home stretch. You know, JD, I look at it as an analysis to baseball. You know, you have your starting pitcher, your middle reliever, and then you have that closing pitcher, the one that comes in to win the game. And I think that that is what Kellyanne's done. And I think she's definitely capable of doing that.
You know, Amy, I love that baseball analogy, but given the Braves record this year, I don't know if I could say that from Atlanta. Anyway, Amy Kremer, great to have you from Atlanta. Ken Blackwell from Cincinnati. When we come back, Brigitte Gabriel talks about what's happening on our border and elsewhere. Stay tuned.